Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another Telling It Like It Is. My name is Jade Alberts, a founder of Peer Guidance. We listen, guide, connect, and help small businesses, startups, and entrepreneurs grow. Sharing knowledge and stories is why I started Telling It Like It Is. It is live. If you have a question, ask away. If you're watching this after the fact on a social media platform, slap your question in there. We will answer it. We do have a new sponsor today. I would like to thank Bessie. They sell 100% grass-finished Alberta beef, naturally raised chicken, and sashimi grade seafood. It's nutrient rich, vacuum sealed, pack size for your convenience. Visit their website. You can just click on it in the comment section, bessiebox.com. I am excited about today's guest, Elizabeth MacRae, the co-founder of Village Wellth. Elizabeth, how are you today?
I'm great, Jade. How are you?
Oh, I am fantastic. I know we met kind of almost pre-COVID, and then you ran off back to your hometown of PEI, but you're back here, and we were introduced by Bridget Legault, who is now the community manager, one of the community managers at Rainforest. So that's an exciting new role for her. So I thank Bridget for that introduction.
Yeah, I do too. Thanks so much for having me on. I'm pretty excited to make this announcement and share a little bit more about what we've been working on the last couple months. And Bridget's been a huge support and advocate for the work that we're doing.
No, absolutely, and we'll start talking about Village Wellth right now after I do a little introduction about yourself.
Perfect.
So, you hail from the East Coast and currently reside in Okotoks with your husband and 2 children. You're a certified exit advisor and the president of Commercial Values, a boutique consulting and advisory firm for exit planning and transaction services, as well as a co-founder of Village Wellth. You started out as a freelance artist and made your way into marketing and nonprofit before becoming a small business owner. When it came time to transition out of her business, she experienced the pain points firsthand of selling a small business and trained as a business broker before moving into the exit planning, and is currently building a SaaS platform to remove some of the friction when it comes to finding qualified successors and how it works to buy a business. And this is a theme that we talk about all the time. People have a pain point, and then all of a sudden they turn it into a business. So I love that. I see it so often. So let's start off with, what is Village Wellth?
Yeah. Oh, we froze there for a second, but we're good now. So Village Wellth is a platform that's designed for people who are looking to acquire businesses. So the way it works is that anyone who's on the search campaign for acquisition can come on and create a profile, and essentially it's almost like a hybrid of their background or their CV, their resume, with their search criteria for a business. But we can accommodate a variety of profiles. So we've got individual buyers, most commonly individuals that are looking to make a career change, CEOs or upper management, people that have maybe owned businesses before, or that just want more control or more freedom in their decision making, and maybe they've reached the top of the food chain in their current company and they really want to expand, and what's next, what's the next level for me, and they look to acquire a business and get into something that they can own themselves and grow some equity in. So that's the majority of our users are individual buyers, but we're also set up to accommodate existing companies looking to grow through acquisition. We can also capture their search criteria. Nonprofits are starting to buy businesses. Municipalities are looking to make acquisition in communities, cooperatives, and obviously private equity groups. And we're sort of capturing the attention of smaller private equity groups, newly formed, younger groups that are looking, that are willing and looking to come down market and look at some of these smaller businesses.
That's interesting that you say nonprofits and a few others are getting into it. And as all businesses, doesn't matter if you're starting one, selling one, or building one, trust is such an important part of that. So how do you guys, or how will Village Wellth build that trust with the potential buyers and sellers?
It's a really good question, and it's something that I came up against when I was a business broker, that as someone who was representing a seller, there was, when someone came to you saying, I want to buy a business, you have to build that trust and that rapport with that individual. And the way that we're looking at capturing that piece is through a verification process. So anyone can come to the platform and create a profile in order to have a badge to say that they are, they're a real person, they're legitimate, they are motivated and financially capable to make an acquisition. They come through a verification process with us, and we do, a sort of an informal interview with us. They have to jump through a few hoops and provide some verification on their sort of, financial capability, and then they're approved with what we call a wealth score, which shows a broker or a business owner, a seller, essentially how capable or motivated this individual is to move on an acquisition. So we wanted to remove any barriers of accessing the site, so anyone can come on and create a profile and see business opportunities that are for sale, and they can access education and some of the other processes. And one of the biggest things that we heard from buyers and mostly novice first-time buyers was, what is the process? Like, I've run multi-million-dollar companies. I know how to grow a business, but I don't know how to buy one. What do I do to buy a business? And so we're working in sort of that education step-by-step guide to help people understand what the process is, but also how to gauge their affordability. If they're an individual who has, this much cash to put into an investment, well, what is that? How does that correlate to what size business I can buy, and what sort of a living wage can I draw from that business?
No, absolutely. And exit planning is something that is always in the back of people's minds. They never think about it. And even in your business plan, you should have one that's put in there. Chances are it's going to be wrong and not come to fruition or go AWOL. But I mean, I've done this process 3 times now, and it is definitely something that can vary from whatever you want to call it, just a nice and easy transition to do it, to very complicated. I know Darren Shanahan of Avail Exit Services does it in the dental, and he says it takes 5 to 7 years to set up your business for a successful, easy transition sale. So how do you work with these people, and how do you start talking with them to get their exit plans in place?
Yeah, it's been a challenge for us to actually pivot our marketing away from being a business brokerage, and I'm crossing the line here. I'm stepping into the work that Commercial Ventures does, and so being a recognized as a business brokerage since 1996, that company sort of had to make a change and a pivot in our messaging, because we really found that people were coming to us too late in the game for us to do much with them and to improve, their value drivers and maximizing value. They came to us when they wanted out. And so we kind of had to make this pivot and the shift to say, when you really should be coming to us is 3 to 5 years out. And I absolutely agree with your friend there. I'm sorry, I forgot his name, with Avail. But to have the most ideal exit and maximize value, 5 to 7 years is the target time to at least start. If you haven't started from the beginning, then at least to start 5 years out is really what it takes. And also because there's that window of time after the sale when oftentimes an acquirer is going to ask you to stay on, or there's a period where you receive funds over a period of time. So a lot of time when people come to us and they say, well, I want out in 3 years, or I want out in 5 years, we have to sort of reverse engineer that timeline, because do you want to just start to sell your business in 5 years? Do you want to be closed in 5 years? Do you want that transaction to be closed in 5 years? Or do you want to be sitting on a beach in Maui in 5 years? Because we kind of have to work it back to say, when do you actually want to be out time-wise and have all your proceeds out, or when do you actually want to start this process? And so we have to do some work to kind of restructure that timeline and that framework for them.
No, absolutely. I think you made so many valid points there. I'm talking with Elizabeth MacRae, the co-founder of Village Wellth. You can click on their website in the comments section, villagewellth.com. I know this is a process. I mean, you have your brokerage and you obviously saw some gap in there to create Village Wellth. And we talked about how you came up with that idea and how you do it. And obviously sometimes you have partners. I mean, I know I've had Robert Irwin on here before, and when I found out that you were he founded MatchWorth, and I loved that process as well. So how did you connect with them and your founders to bring this, your other co-founders, to bring this to fruition?
Yeah, it's been a really fun year, and it started about a year ago, and there are 4 of us now that are involved in the company. And so it was about a year ago that Commercial Ventures was engaged on a search mandate for in wealth management. We were brought on by a wealth management firm to go out and seek books of business for them to acquire. And so I had met Rob about 2 years ago now, just through a financial planner who had made the introduction to us, and we got along well. And so when we were working on this search mandate, I obviously Rob came to mind, because I thought, well, he's got a database of wealth managers through MatchWorth. And so I connected with him, and we started chatting about, pairing, in the financial planning wealth management space, pairing people to buy and sell their books. And then that conversation sort of just expanded over the next few months about what happens, agnostically for businesses in general. And then we sort of, and Rob very pointedly said, well, what is the biggest pain point here? What is one of the biggest pain points that nobody else is paying attention to? And I said, buyers, because when you're a buyer, you have to go out, you have to sort of network with lawyers and accountants, you need to meet with all the brokers, you need to build trust with all those brokers so that they remember to call you when something comes up. Like, it's a lot of work. And like private equity companies have, people that they hire, and they have a sort of an outreach, department that does this type of work. But if you're an individual, you're not going to spend thousands of dollars on these software companies to find you a business to buy. You don't have the time or the capacity a lot of the time, or the budget to invest in finding a business to buy. And if you're not on a business broker's radar, oftentimes, you're not going to get notified of things that are for sale. And we thought, there are a lot of people in this space who would love to acquire a business. And I was one of them. 8 years ago, my husband and I wanted to get into business, and we didn't know that acquiring an existing business was an option for us. So we went the typical franchise route. And I wish I knew about something like Village Wellth back then, because we would have made substantially different decisions. And so we sort of thought, and this is Josh, one of our other partners, in his words, we're gonna put our arms around these buyers, and we're gonna build a place for them to come. And even, in the business broker space, I was constantly getting referrals from lawyers and banks, saying, this person wants to buy a business, can you help them? And really, as a business broker, unless they were interested in something that we were representing, all I could really say is, well, we'll put you on a list, and when we have something that's of interest, we'll notify you. And for me, that wasn't enough. And I was having the same conversation over and over again when people would come to us and say, I've got this much money, this is what I'm looking for. What is the process? Again, it came back to process. How does it work to buy a business? And it was kind of time consuming in a way to have this conversation every week, again and again, with different people. And you want to take care of you want to take care of the people that were referred to you, because you appreciate your relationships and your network. And we just, through the conversation with Rob, how that evolved is just, we thought, there's something here. There's something worth putting together and building a platform around. And then when we found our other partners, Rob brought Josh Diaz in, and he's got a background in marketing and communications. And then I brought Giselle Savoy, and she's from Toronto, and she worked with another SaaS platform before, and she kind of understands the development aspect and the user component. And so the 4 of us together have just built the beginning of this beast, and it's been a lot of fun. And I've been looking for partners for a couple of years, and I had been warned about partners before. It's kind of like getting married, but I knew from the beginning that I didn't want to do this alone, and that there was ample room to have partners and build something that was really impactful to the space and to succession. And that's essentially been our goal, is like we're creating a part of a solution for the succession issue that has been identified in Canada and in the US.
Oh, absolutely. And I think it's such an important step in a person's life, because that can add so much stress when they want to sell their business, when they want to exit, they don't know how to exit, they don't know what their business is worth. So speaking of that, why don't you? I'm Jade Alberts. I'm coming in. I want to buy a business, and I find how am I going to find Village Wellth, and walk me through the process I have to go through.
For sure. So the first thing is to click on create your free profile, and it asks you a series of questions about yourself and about your search criteria and what industries you're interested in, and how much you have to invest. And then we work with you in the verification process to sort of identify then what price range you're looking in. So, for example, if someone says, I have $150,000 to invest, BDC is a good example. If they need financing, BDC requires 25% down. If they're going to get some vendor financing in there, they can stretch that a bit because BDC will often look at the vendor finance as part of the equity portion. And so someone who's got about 150,000 is typically looking for something between 500,000 and $1 million enterprise value. And so we have been working with brokers across the country to access their businesses for sale. So we are starting to curate a list of opportunities for sale. Over time, we will be working directly with business owners who sort of don't want to, they have the option to use a broker or to not use a broker. If they choose not to use a broker, we have advisors on the platform to support them through the process, regardless of what stage they're in. One of the things that we found is we do support people to sell on their own, but we also recognize where the pitfalls and where they may stumble in the process. And so that's where we'll be building an education around the steps to sell. And also on the buy side, we really advocate for people to be accessing the right advisors through this process, both on the buy side and the sell side. We really encourage both parties to have some sort of representation or guidance or mentorship throughout the process. So right now, when you're a buyer and you log into your profile, once you've sort of set up your search criteria and you've been verified, that's a big part of the process. Because a lot of the brokers have said, we would really like to only communicate with people who are verified because it saves them a lot of time, and they know that they're building trust with us because we've conveyed to them that we are verifying our users. And so it kind of sets our users apart from buyers that they might find on other marketplace sites, because anyone can sort of contact a business on a marketplace site. So being verified is a big part of our trust factor. And then once they're sort of in their profile and on their dashboard, they can access advisors from within their dashboard. So we've been starting to work with some local law firms in Calgary and accounting and financial valuation review firms that will be housed. They will have profiles on the site so that a buyer going through the process can access advisors directly and very quickly, and advisors who we have a relationship with, and we're very confident that they can support our users in making these acquisitions.
Excellent. No, I like that. And I mean, the good thing about having such a connected and entrepreneurial province as Alberta,
Mm-hmm.
there's so many people that can help each other in this thing. You don't have to create everything by yourself. You can say, hey, we're going to partner with you, and you need some financial advice. You can talk to this person. You need a lawyer. You need this person. Bringing kind of everything in-house, but not in-house where you have to employ everybody, but everybody's working together. It's such a strong ecosystem that way, this province.
Yeah, and especially in business transitions, when we're trying to move, this entity that has been created by a founder and trying to transition that to the next generation of ownership, it takes a village, and that's part of where our name came from. And every village, back in the day had a well, and everyone's involved here, and there is such a network and such an ecosystem that's required to transition this ownership. And with commercial ventures, we've been running roundtables for the last couple of years. And we really found that when we brought a table of advisors, and it was strictly advisors that we invited to these roundtables, that the conversation and the vibrancy in the room with these groups of advisors was really profound. And there really is a desire in our community to help these businesses transition and to work together and not have advisors kind of working in silos. And it's sort of this embodiment of togetherness and coming together that really make these transitions successful. Like it takes a village, it takes a community of advisors to help these businesses transition.
It's literally funny that you used the slogan, "It takes a village," because our sponsor and one of my biggest fans, Krista Malden, the founder of Community Now magazine, that is her slogan. And for the last few months, she's been sponsoring this. And the first week you're off, and
I didn't know that.
Sponsoring us. Someone actually uses the Community Now magazine slogan.
And didn't even know
I know Chris is probably watching, or she will be seeing this, and I know she's going to have a chuckle with that too.
That's great.
No, it is funny, but I guess so. I mean, it's so important, what you're doing and bringing everybody together and helping people through, a very stressful time. Is because, as I said before, starting a business, you need trust. You need to trust a lot of your employees as you're growing the business, and when you exit, you need people around you that are giving you the right advice. And so, what you've bringing to the table here is awesome, and thank you so much for that. So what's next for Village Wellth?
Well, we're going to launch in Calgary, hopefully this month in October. Our development team is working incredibly hard, and Josh and Rob and Giselle, everybody's sort of all hands on deck right now to, we're in a soft launch. There's obviously going to be bugs and tweaks to fix. We're doing an incredible amount of customer discovery. If anybody watching sort of wants a demo, we do demos weekly. We really need to make sure that this product and this platform functions, because if it doesn't function, we're not doing something right. And we're not going to serve the purpose that we want to serve. So this fall, we're opening up the advisors that are working with us on the platform. Those profiles are going to be live. They're not quite live yet. We're going to grow the businesses, the opportunity list. We're going to refine that. We're working with more brokers every week, and really just trying to impact the conversation on a national level. After we move out of Calgary, we're going to go across Canada fairly quickly, because we've got brokers already across Canada, and those brokers have databases of buyers across Canada as well. So we want to expose more buyers. It's one of the fear points of business owners is, I heard it so many times in the broker space, is, are there buyers out there for me? And now before, we could say, yes, there are buyers, but I can't show you my database because that's my bread and butter. And now, we're saying, yes, there are buyers, and here they are. There's a public database. It's anonymous, but you can still see details about these buyers. You can access these buyers. And essentially what we're trying to do is we're trying to take a database and we're going to 10x it and make it public.
No, that's great. And I know the website is active. It's up there again, villagewellth.com. You can just click on it in the comment section, and you can go there, set up account. And if anybody actually wants that demo, you can reach out to Elizabeth through there or through myself. But definitely I'm excited. I mean, I've checked it out. It's I'm excited. I've been waiting for this interview for a while, because it is one of the questions I get asked a lot. And when, I've been through the process 3 times, and there's easy ones and there's extremely difficult ones and everything in between. So having someone there to help you, to hold your hand, to give you that honest advice that you need to move forward, and whatever that is for the next step of your life, whether it is retirement to living on the beach, or just you want to get out because you want to do something new and open up a new coffee shop where you can now sell your business on Village Wellth and buy a coffee shop on Village Wellth, which is
buy a coffee shop. Yeah, exactly. And so many people have this dream of being an entrepreneur, but later in life, when you've got mouths to feed and you can't be without a salary, you're not going to go do a startup. You're not going to start a business. And so we really want to expose this opportunity, that you can buy a business, you can invest some money to buy a business. The banks are there to finance it. You can make a living wage and grow some equity and own something that's within your community. And this is entirely possible. And we really want to expose that as an opportunity for people.
No, absolutely. And having a place there where you can find that, it is perfect. So I'm looking forward to watching you guys grow and supporting with you. And I know we've talked about working together and even with some other people, whether it be like companies with Jordans like Stack that we've talked about. And I've just met in the last month or so here that I'm extremely impressed with. There's a really good ecosystem here of people that are willing to help you get to that next level. And that next level for some people is exiting. So here we are.
Yeah, exactly. No, I really appreciate you having me on and the platform to be able to share sort of our soft launch. So if anyone wants to reach out, we are here. My partners, Rob Irwin, Josh Diaz, and Giselle Savoy, we have a lot of fun, and we welcome anyone to reach out for a demo.
Perfect. I'm not letting you run that way that quickly. We're not done. You got to answer my last question.
Okay. I'm ready.
As it is always tradition, the last question is always the same. So, Elizabeth, if you had one piece of advice for a startup, a small business, or an entrepreneur that wants to exit their business, what would that be?
It would be to know all of your options. I think awareness is one of the biggest, most critical pieces to this pie. And I think most people are not fully aware of all of their options. So, do your research, dig. If you're looking to start a business, consider acquiring one and then adapt it to be your own. It can save you money. If you're looking to grow, you can grow through acquisition. It could be a faster way to reach more market. Selling, there are an expanded number of options to sell to. Exiting to communities coming up and being more supported in communities, municipalities, nonprofits, buying businesses, a variety of exit options that really are available to you. And just think beyond what you might think are your options today. There are more options than you are aware of, and keep digging.
Great advice. That is so true. And I really do appreciate you coming on today and sharing your story, sharing your knowledge about exiting, and the people that are out there that are watching this. And there he is. There's Robert saying something. So saying it, love it. It takes a village. It does take a village. And there's people around every step of the process from starting to exiting that are there to help you, that aren't in it for themselves, and are in it to watch and help our ecosystem grow and thrive throughout the entire province of Alberta. So thank you what you're doing. And thank you for sharing your story today.
Thank you, Jade. I really appreciate you having me on.
Absolutely. And thank you for Bessie Box for coming on as a sponsor. They've basically been running down there. They take right from the farm to you, small little vacuum packs for your family size. So go to their website. It's in the comment section, bessiebox.com. Thank you again, Elizabeth. And I hope everybody has a fantastic day. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.